To our next item, and that is item 12, just a dozen, license to occupy the Ministry of Education at Three Kings. So I'm going to put it on the table and I'll ask Councillor Casey if she could move. Councillor Fletcher, if you're on the call, would you like to second this particular item? I think Councillor Fletcher is still offline. So look, I will move that to put on the table for discussion, and I'm going to invite our staff, Tamara and Ellen, if you could introduce the staff online, please, and introduce the item. Tēnā kōrua.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. My name is Tamara Zunik. I'm from Land Advisory within Community Facilities. The purpose of this report is to rescind the decision made by the Regional Development and Operation Committee back in 2012. The decision authorized a land exchange between Auckland Council and the Ministry of Education. More specifically, a small part of Robinson Reserve was to be exchanged for the part of adjoining land owned by the Ministry of Education that is currently occupied by Central Auckland Specialist School. There are three reasons why this decision should be rescinded. First one is that due to substantial costs involved in such land exchange, Auckland Council and the Ministry of Education have instead agreed to enter into licenses to occupy the respective pieces of land. Second reason is that in February this year, Pukete Papa Local Board passed a resolution to grant a license to occupy to the Ministry of Education over that small part of Robinson Reserve. And a third reason is that there are now two decisions in relation to same piece of land. And in interest of avoiding any risks of confusion in the future, the best option is to rescind this decision from 2012. So I hope that this information is sufficient for the committee to consider rescinding this decision. That's pretty much all from me, unless you have any questions.
Kia ora, Tamara. It's more than sufficient. It just explains everything. So thank you so much for the report. I'm going to apply the rule for any pātai.
Oh, too hard.
Oh, tēnā koe, matua.
Yeah, sorry. Too hard to push the button. Yeah, I'm reading it. I'm still kind of unclear. What makes it so difficult to do this transfer?
Land exchange, because both Robinson Reserve and Ministry of Education's land required to be surveyed, and costs of doing that were quite substantial. And on top of that, costs were to be covered by Auckland Council.
Thank you.
Yeah. Ka pai. I'm going to invite Councillor Casey, if you have any comments to close the, if not, I can put the recommendation. Kia ora.
I'm all good, Alfie.
Okay, I'm going to put the recommendation. All those in favour?
Aye.
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 Against? Carried. Tamara, thank you. It wasn't sufficient, it was actually better than efficient. That's why it's gone through so quick. Thank you, Tamara.
Thank you.
Okay, we'll move to our next item, and that is item 13, unlucky for some. That's a development of Play Streets guidance for